Revenge Rampage!
Hello and welcome back to Flick Check. I'm your host, Andrew Woltman. A couple things before we get started. I have a little business to settle with my Oscar bet, since I haven't done a show since then. The Captain's Corner is the best show that reviews movies. It is totally awesome and way better than Flick Check. Obligation fulfilled. I still think Keaton should have won. I mean, come on. And number two, to the government in Canada, get your together. I'm a huge fan of Trailer Park Boys, and they have recently cut the tax credits for Nova Scotian filming, which put a huge spike in the industry, brought it right down. A bunch of people are out of jobs. Come on, you got to fix this. Anyway, I'm joined today, coming back after a long hiatus, Discount Paul Schaefer. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be... Thank you. It's good to be back, but my name is not Discount Paul Schaefer anymore. I figure I'm different enough from the real Paul Schaefer that I can't justifiably call myself a copy. So, I got a new name. Besides, you try writing Discount Paul Schaefer on your underwear. A lot of ink. What's your new name, Paul? Paul Namtlow. You think people aren't going to notice that it's just... No, don't tell them. I'm going to have a contest at the end. See if they can guess it. Okay. Why exactly was I gone anyway? I mean, who's the jackass that fired me? That was me, and I do genuinely feel bad about that. No harm, no foul. Oh yes, and also with me is my new producer and agent, Johnny Sizzles. Yes, good to be back, and, Paul, nice to meet you in person, finally. Why does he look like us, too? I mean, is he also an LMD? Are we gonna learn his origin story? Paul, just let it go. Let it go, can't hold you back. Turn that off right now. Why? Because there's no way that song is still popular. It's been over a year since that movie came out. You see, that's where you're wrong. It may be a little older now, but that just means it's retro. It's still topping the iTunes charts and it's still receiving a fair amount of radio play. Even though it pisses me the f*** off. I actually gotta go with him, Andrew. Frozen still has staying power. I think it's a good idea to have it in here. I didn't think they would agree on anything when they met. Andrew, trust me, I know what you need for your ratings. What ratings? That's a copy of Desi Arnaz's autobiography. Huh. I was wondering why our Babalu numbers were so down. Actually, if you go to like chapter 10, I think it's 9 or 10, there's an interesting anecdote about Bob Hope. Really? What page? I think it might be... What am I doing? This isn't a book club. Book club would be more fun. Okay, before we get into why we're here, Remake Rampage, we need to check in on our Ratzenberger watch. Johnny? Yes, as you may or may not know, we are huge fans of actor John Ratzenberger. So, we've made it our personal goal to get him as a guest on Flick Check. So far, no, not so lucky, but we're still hopeful. We do remain hopeful. Mr. Ratzenberger, we are huge fans of yours. We'd love to have you. Now it's the moment you're all here for. Remake Rampage! Remake Rampage! Remake Rampage! Remake Rampage! That's right. Hollywood is flooding like Noah's Ark with remakes, and original stories are sinking like a rowboat full of bowling balls. Why is that? Our old friend can tell us why. The cash cow. Is it just cheaper to take something that's already been done and just make it a little different, maybe live action? I personally blame Disney. Yes. Disney is the main culprit. Not to say that other studios aren't guilty, but Disney is the kid in the cafeteria that takes one of each sauce just because it's easier than picking one. You don't need relish! Who puts relish on French fries? Anyway, the whole reimagining not always an awful idea. Cinderella, that just came out, directed by Kenneth Branagh. Pretty solid piece, well acted, well directed. A little too claustrophobic to the source material, but it wasn't really a main problem. I enjoyed the movie. Lily James, who from Downton Abbey, she was pretty good. Richard Madden from Game of Thrones, he was awesome. Maleficent, that was different. I would more call that a reimagining than a remake because, by its very nature, it was the untold story. That doesn't let the movie off the hook because the only thing that it had gripping the audience was Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, and damn, she sold that movie. I want to see it again. Actually, do I have a Redbox credit tonight?
No, I used it to watch Whiplash the other night. Sorry.
I'll just watch the Mets Braves. Anyway, it can be disastrous, but still make a lot of money. Alice in Wonderland 2010 by Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. What did that have to say about the story other than if we make it really gothic and creepy, we could sell t-shirts at Hot Topic for $19.99? It didn't really add anything. It was just kind of, okay, if you're kooky, you'll like this. And they're making a sequel. Who really asked for a sequel to that? I mean, oh my god, that movie was just putrid. It didn't add anything to the story. And for f***'s sake, if you're going to come up with a riddle like, why is a raven like a writing desk? Answer the riddle! It's 5 years later, I still don't know what it is. That's the only thing I really remember about that movie. Other than, it was just more Tim Burton, Johnny Depp doing the same thing and telling a story that didn't need to be told again.
In all fairness, you have a predisposition to hate towards Johnny Depp.
No, this has nothing to do with my dislike of Johnny Depp. It has to do with my dislike of Alice in Wonderland just being milked like our friend up here. Let's go through the list of how many movies does Disney have in production? Okay, we're going to go through that list. I'll tell you if I feel like the remake is necessary or not, and what it can explore. What's first up?
Mulan.
Mulan? That actually could work. I mean, over the years, the past few years actually, there's been more tax credits to film in China, so yeah, it could work. It'd be an interesting story. A young woman becomes a warrior to protect her ill father from having to do it himself. It'd be a great role for a young Asian actress. Please, for the love of God, do not whitewash this. You know, Ming-Na Wen, who did the voice role in the original movie, she's still capable. She still kicks butt every week on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I feel like she could still do it.
I feel like it's an easier movie to do, actually. You know, it's not that far out.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to do too many special effects. I mean, the CGI from Mushu, and maybe some special effects, but if you get the right people, you know, train some people, get some good stuntmen, you know, Hollywood, make use of your stuntmen, you still have them. You can make some good battles, maybe rival the ones in Lord of the Rings. What's next?
Pinocchio.
Doesn't Disney have a Pinocchio coming out this year?
There are no strings on me.
I mean, there are a lot of parallels with Ultron and the whole Pinocchio angle they're taking with Tony Stark, but we'll talk more about that when we review Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't see what else there is to tell about the Pinocchio story unless you really update it. Because they kind of made a joke out of Pinocchio with the Shrek movies. I don't think there's much else to tell, really. Everyone knows, you lie, your nose grows. If anything, there's Geico commercials. Everyone gets the story of Pinocchio. It does nothing else anymore. If I want to see the Pinocchio story, I'll turn on the original Pinocchio. There's nothing else to say with Pinocchio. What's next?
Pete's Dragon.
Okay. Well, it's too late for me to say anything because they're already filming, but I don't think enough people are familiar with Pete's Dragon. I can't even tell you what it's about. I'm honestly not sure I've seen it myself. It could be, and it could be a good movie. Yeah, it's like, if I don't really know about it, and I'm assuming that it's not on the top of anyone's Disney list. If it is, then I don't want to take that away from you. Enjoy it. Otherwise, I don't really see a reason why you couldn't do Pete's Dragon. The Jungle Book. Okay, here's the thing about the Jungle Book. They're making 2 Jungle Books. Disney's making one, and Warner Brothers is making one. Jon Favreau's making one for Disney. Andy Serkis is making one for Warner Brothers, and that's his directorial debut. Right now, I'm a little split on which one I want to see. Jon Favreau has Bill Murray in it as Baloo, and he's confirmed that he's going to sing the Bare Necessities, so that'll be a little closer to the Disney movie. Whereas the Warner Brothers version, that has, I think, Christian Bale, Idris Elba, I'll probably see both. Again, The Jungle Book, Rudyard Kipling novel from way back in the day. Not that too prominent of a story. I have seen The Jungle Book, actually. But it's not too prominent of a story that you can't do it again. I feel like there's people that would enjoy seeing it. And the main part that I don't like about these remakes is they all seem to be about princesses. Like, okay, we get it. You find the prince, you live happily ever after. If it's something like The Jungle Book, where it takes place in an exotic location, and you can really
Explore an often overlooked landscape.
yeah, pretty much. The Jungle Book, I don't feel like it's been done to death, or it's just another, oh, I'm going to wait for Prince Charming, or, oh, we're going to have a twist where I'm not waiting for Prince Charming. Seriously, I look forward to The Jungle Book, both versions. What's next? Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. No. Impressive cast, not in my repertoire. I like Josh Gad. I like Ian McKellen. I think they just confirmed him as Cogsworth. I feel like this has been done to death. There was a movie version a couple years ago where it was brought in modern times with Neil Patrick Harris. I'm not sure who he played. I just saw the DVD cover. I think it was called Beastly. And then there's that one show on CW, Kristen Chuck? What's her name? She played Lana Lang on Smallville. There's nowhere to go with the Beauty and the Beast story, because I would suggest bringing it into modern times, but as I've just pointed out, that's been done twice in the past 10 years. If you feel the need to do it, make it a little more traditional, but I don't see any reason why it should be done. Frankly, tale as old as time, it's in the movie itself. There's really nothing else you can do with Beauty and the Beast. But the song is as old as rhyme. Okay, I think there's like one remake left that we haven't talked about. Oh, what is it, Johnny? Winnie the Pooh. What? Winnie the Pooh. For a second there, I thought you said they're making a live-action Winnie the Pooh. I did, they are. It says right here.
That's all I can stand. I can't stand no more.
Since when did pens get so bendy? I thought that was going to break. Anyway, flag on the play. You do not make a live-action Winnie the Pooh. What are you going to do? Take a bear and put a shirt on it? And don't give me some CGI crap. Winnie the Pooh is never meant to be CGI. Unless it's on Playhouse Disney, in which case, I don't give a crap. Winnie the Pooh was created by A.A. Milne as a book character. Disney made their own version of it back in the 50s or 60s. I don't know exactly when. I don't have to. I was a kid when I loved Winnie the Pooh, and I still have nostalgia for him. The Disney character is iconic for the way he looks, all his cartoons, all his movies. He's always appeared the same. He's always sounded the same. The voice actors have changed, but there's always been that kind of consistency that, okay, next time you see Pooh, if you're not a little kid, he'll look the way he's supposed to look. There was a movie, there was a Winnie the Pooh movie in 2011. It was traditionally animated. And me and my friends, we went to see it because we love Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, you probably haven't heard about it. It came out the same week as a certain other movie. Either way, it was good. It had all the nostalgia of a classic Winnie the Pooh adventure. They were trying to find Christopher Robin, who they think is taken by some monster, but it turns out that it's just a little misunderstanding because they can't really read because they're stuffed animals. You can't do this in live action. A Winnie the Pooh live action movie, I do not see how it would work. If you want to make a Funny or Die sketch or something on the internet, by all means, go away. Go ahead. You do not make an official Disney version of Winnie the Pooh live action. That is not how it works. I want the classic Winnie the Pooh I grew up with. He's a fluffy little stuffed, all tuffed with fluff, and I want him to remain that way and look like this forever. I'm sorry, this is my Winnie the Pooh.
You sound a little aggressive there, but I do remember what happened the last time they tried to make a live-action movie out of a beloved animated bear.
Yeah, that did seem a little aggressive, but you need to understand I'm coming from a place of passion for the character. I love Winnie the Pooh. I grew up with Winnie the Pooh. I had a stuffed Winnie the Pooh that my late grandmother, she gave me. Yeah. And here's this. Winnie the Pooh and Christmas 2. I can't believe I still have this. Well, it hasn't been rewound. Wow. Remember when we had rewinders for tapes? I mean, you just pop it in, it would go back. It would take about 2 minutes. Wow, those are nostalgia days. The point is, I don't want to see Winnie the Pooh desecrated. I speak with a little ferocity, but it all comes from a place of love for a beloved childhood character, one with whom I really grew up with and cherished. And that's another thing. I don't want it to sound like I don't like Disney. I love Disney. They've made beautiful films over the years. I didn't trust them when they first got Marvel, but then I saw that they were going to be more of a hands-off, just ownership kind of way. And I'm very excited about what they're doing with Star Wars. It's just, I don't want to see them ruin my childhood or yours by taking films that don't necessarily need to be remade and just making weird twists, weird casting decisions. I just don't want to see anyone's childhood ruined. That may be a little cliche, and I'm sure you see a million blogs that say that, but I speak from a place of passion as a critic and as a lover of my childhood. These are films we all grew up with. These are characters we all loved. I love what you're saying. You know, I have a special place in my heart for Piglet. Damn, that's touching, man.
I agree. That was rousing, man.
Thank you, both of you. And I don't want it to seem like I'm just picking on Disney because there are a lot of other guilty parties. Someone is remaking Ben-Hur. Why? That was a perfect movie. Made in the golden age of Hollywood. It had Charlton Heston. It was just beautiful, magnificent, well shot for its time. If you watch that today, it's still magnificent. I mean, the chariot race, oh my god. Now they're just gonna make it like some sort of, I don't even know. I don't want to know. Because I don't want them to remake it. I think they're also making Point Break again. Come on. That's Patrick Swayze's movie. No.
You can't forget about Keanu Reeves. He was a huge part of Point Break.
Yes, but I don't consider that a classic piece of Keanu Reeves' history. I remember him more for Bill and Ted and The Matrix and, you know. Although, I heard John Wick was pretty good. I do want to see that. Now, am I saying that we shouldn't make remakes? Absolutely not. We just have to pick and choose. And here's something, I read this in an article years ago with Seth Rogen. Why remake good movies? You should remake bad movies. Because they were bad in the first place. Try to fix them. Make them better. Like, he said you should remake Plan 9 from Outer Space. I would love to see them try. Make something out of that mess. Even if you make it just purely as parody, as I'm sure someone like Rogan would, then do it.
Can't wait to see how they incorporate weed into that one.
I think what it boils down to is continue with your franchises. Do not touch the Marvel franchise. I still love the hell out of that. Continue with Star Wars. As long as you keep it fresh. Keep what you have going. Keep it fresh. But don't fall back on old classics for new bucks. If you really need to squeeze another dollar out of something like, I don't know, Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, re-release it. I would love to see that in a movie theater again. I think they did like a re-release a couple of years ago for Lion King. I'd love seeing that in the theaters. You underestimate how much people will actually go to a theater to see like something re-released. Just use some original ideas. This is what Walt Disney would do. This is what anyone would do. Stanley Kubrick, I'm sure he would not want to see somebody remaking A Clockwork Orange. Just push forward, keep what you have, and embrace the future. I realize how generic that sounds, but it applies. Embrace the future of movies. There are so many people out there, so many I go to school with brilliant ideas. They are just waiting for you to take them. Make them. Make something great out of them. Don't fall back on old classics all the time. I'm really liking your mojo. I'm starting to feel glad that I didn't have them cancel your show. I say that just about does it. I'd like to thank my producer, Johnny Sizzles, for being here. Where can they find us online, Johnny?
Hey, wait a minute. Don't I usually tell you where they can find us online?
Paul, you have something else coming up. Just relax.
You can find us on Facebook at Flick Check with Andrew Woltman. Also, hit us up on Twitter at AndWalt. Walt with an O, not an A.
Okay, and I'd like to thank Paul Namtlo for being here. Would you like to announce your contest?
If you can guess the joke behind the name Paul Namplo, we'll let you pick the topic on an episode of Flick Check.
Okay, and I'm Andrew Waldman, and remember, if you don't know about a flick, let me give it a check. Have a good night.